Lighten up. Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Do you have messages for me?
Your pal Mosley called. He left a message that they are interrogating a suspect this morning, and you might want to be there.
Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
Do you have messages for me?
I've given everything to you.
Tell me about it.
What do
Just tell.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it. I thought spending a few months here would clear my head.
Nothing, I guess.
Hello.
Is this the Casino residence?
Yes. What can I do for you?
Do you or does anyone in your family patronize the Dixieland drugstore?
I'm a busy man. What are you selling?
Nothing.
Good. Goodbye.
Hi, Casino residence.
Hi. I was wondering if you could help me.
Yeah?
A woman in the Dixieland drugstore dropped her purse today, and the name Casino was inside it.
Dixieland drugstore? Never heard of it. Sorry.
Hello?
Hello, I'm calling from the Dixieland drugstore. We have an order for you.
Castro, be quiet. Who is this?
I'm a friend of the owner.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
Casino residents, may I help you?
Hi, you've won a customer raffle at the Dixieland drugstore.
No soliciting, please.
Yes?
Hello, I'm calling from the Dixieland drugstore. We have an order for you.
Hush, Castro. I told you I don't know what you're talking about.
Cajun Critters Animal Clinic. This is Melissa.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Our doctors see just about any type of animals, but we don't get many snakes.
Okay, thanks. Do you have a Madame Casino as a client?
Madam Casino? Sure, I know her. She's not here right now, though.
Really? She told me she'd be there. Would you happen to have her address by any chance?
Yes, but I'm not sure I should give it out. Who are
you again?
I'm worried about Castro. He's missed 3 dance lessons.
Castro? Her little doggy? Oh, he's so sweet. Well, I guess if you know Castro, it's okay. Her address is 345 Dauphine.
Thanks. See you later.
See ya.
Hey. That window leads to Mosley's office. Can I bother you again, officer?
What is it this time?
What do you know about St. John's Eve?
A bunch of crazies out there on St. John's Eve, that's what. We're busy all night.
Really? What kind of crazies?
Oh, your usual howl at the mooners, I guess. They don't look no weirder than them that come in during Mardi Gras. Never can tell, though.
What do you know about Marie Le...
Marie who? Is she the one that hangs out on Conti and Nash?
No. Never mind. Do you know what...
No. Sounds foreign or something.
What can you tell me?
Best food in the world. You can get it right here in Orleans. Muffaletta sandwiches. Beignets, good Cajun coffee. Yep, a man can die happy in this city.
It's practically guaranteed. Do you know anything about animal masks?
I see plenty of masks during Mardi Gras. Not many animals, though. Of course, there's plenty of animals underneath.
I'm here to see Detective Mosley.
He's in his office. Go on back.
You! Give me back my badge! Now, Knight!
Sure. Thanks for letting me, borrow it.
Yeah? You borrow it again, and your history. Now, about today. Glad you made it. It'll give you a feel for how I am in action. You know, handling suspects, that sort of thing.
I'm sure it'll be invigorating. Who is this guy, anyway?
Calls himself Crash. He's been an informant for us before, mostly helping us bust small-time pimps and dealers trying to break into the territory. He's been staying invisible during these murders, but we picked him up this morning at Jackson Square pushing coke. He knows something. Call it detective's instinct.
Detective's instinct. Got it.
All right, Crash. I want to hear about these murders. Have you been present at the so-called voodoo rituals?
I don't know nothing. All right, I told you.
Come on now. You can tell me. Do you know anyone who's been to these rituals?
Look, I can't say nothing. You gotta let me go.
Relax. No one knows you're here. The men who picked you up were in plain clothes.
Plain clothed. Like you could fool them. They know I'm here. They've got ears all over the city. They know everything.
Who are they, Crash? Are they the ones doing the murders?
Let me go.
If you're so worried about being detained, start talking. You tell me what I want to hear, and maybe I can get you into the witness protection program. But you gotta earn it.
Witness protection? Are you crazy? Oh, don't make me laugh. Oh, Jesus, just let me out of here.
Oh, come on. Who's behind these murders, Crash? Why are the victims all members of the underworld?
Oh, by now they know I'm here. It's different when I'm supposed to come here. Oh, if I can send a message. Yeah. Tell him I didn't say nothing.
Christ, he's freaking useless. Just take him back to detaining, would you, Tony? I'll tell you, times like this, I'd kill for truth serum. Damn civil rights.
Can I quote you on that?
Huh? Hell no. Damn, we can only keep him for 24 hours. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna have to let him go. Sorry it wasn't more exciting. For the book, I mean. Hey, maybe you could punch it up some. What do they call that? Fiction. That's it.
It certainly is. I'll see what I can do. Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
Do you know anything?
Is she that red-headed chick that works at Freddy's?
No.
Then I don't know her.
What can you tell?
I'm too sentimental to say anything else about it.
Do you know anything about
Animal masks? You mean like those Halloween masks they sometimes use in robberies?
I don't think so. More like real animals.
Never ran across anything like that.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
That's coming up, isn't it? We get some occasional weirdness in the quarter, but nothing much. Used to have a lot of strange things happen, though, or so I hear.
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I don't know much except what I already told you.
Does the phrase caprice encore mean anything to you?
Hell no! Is that French? My mother spoke it, but I always had a hard enough time just speaking English.
True enough. What's the status?
Sure as hell ain't going well. There sure are a lot of brakes being applied in different areas of the investigation. We're getting some real info on the victims now, and they're not exactly upstanding citizens. I was hoping to get more out of Crash, but he's scared shitless. We'll have to let him go tomorrow morning.
What's the stat?
You're as filled.
So how do you find anything in this office? It looks like a war zone in here.
Hey, I get my job done. I'm a detective, not Betty Crocker.
I'm gonna hit the road.
Ciao, baby.
Excuse me, officer?
Yes?
Ah,
Fine. I'll get back to work.
the sign says the Overlook's closed for repairs until June 21st. I don't need to go visit the family tomb today.
May I help you, my child?
Can I ask you a few questions?
The confessional is not the best place for interviews, son. You can contact the parish offices if you need private counseling.
I understand. Thanks, Father.
Is there anything else?
Could you give me a blessing?
Do you feel the need for a blessing?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
All right, if it will comfort you. Peace be with you, son.
Thank you, Father.
Is there anything else?
No, thank you.
As you wish. Please feel free to stay and commune with God.
How's it going today?
What? Oh, it's only you. Man, I have been jumpy all day. That pattern of yours really freaked me out for some reason. There's just something creepy.
You finished it?
Yeah, and you're welcome to it. Here.
Wow. This is great.
Yeah, just don't, blow up the planet with it or something, okay?
I didn't mean to upset you.
Forget it. I'm probably just being stupid. Do your thing with it, and, good luck.
Thanks again for that pattern.
No problem.
Hey, Grace, here I am.
Whew, boy, party time.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I have a pattern I need you to research.
How interesting. What is it?
It's a reconstruction of the tracings they found around the murder victims. The ones done in flour and blood.
Yuck. You shouldn't carry this kind of thing around. Who knows what these symbols mean?
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves if you want, but check it out for me, would you?
I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
I can't think of anything. I'm going out.
Don't hurry back on my account.
Voodoo is the tribal religion of Africa, but the name voodoo is actually a banner heading, under which resides an entire body of distinct tribal belief systems. The word voodoo may sound familiar to you. What is known in the States as voodoo is actually an amalgamation of African religious systems, voodoo, and European religions, primarily Catholicism. All of these subcults of African voodoo have certain things in common. The most important is the worship of a pantheon of spirits, instead of the single deity that the Christian and Muslim systems have. Some of these spirits are elementals. Some relate to specific tasks or places. Some represent important tribal leaders who have died. This spirit worship is what makes voodoo so easily adaptable. With all these spirits, it's no problem to add a few more. Say, for example, the Virgin Mary. At the height of tribal Africa, warfare was common. One tribe would conquer another, and the Loa, important in the conqueror's tribal system, would be adopted readily into the conquered tribe's Loa pantheon. In this way, many of the voodoo cults spread and mingled throughout tribal Africa, enriching the belief system and causing innumerable offshoots. The basis for the voodoo religion seems to be as old as man himself. It has much in common with many early pagan practices: animal totems, sympathetic magic, elemental spirits in the trees, the heavens, the bodies of the sick. Africa is believed by many to be the cradle of the human race. Some of the voodoo Loa may be as old as the Garden of Eden itself. We still can't explain some of the real power of these primal religions. And note, I said primal, not primitive. There are African Bokors who baffle our scientists with their supernatural powers. Now, let's discuss the elements of voodoo.
Fascinating guy.
In voodoo, the spirits are called the Loa. During a voodoo ceremony, celebrants are possessed by the Loa. This is called being ridden. The human worshipper is seen as a horse, and the Loa as the divine horseman. A person being ridden by a Loa takes on the characteristics of that spirit and becomes, in effect, merely a vessel for the more powerful entity. Some of the older original Africa Loa include Dambala, the great serpent god, Ezuli, the mistress of love, Papa Nebo, or Gede, the lord of death, Awe, the spirit of water, Legba, spirit of the crossroads, and the cruelest and most dangerous, Ogun Badagri, the lord of destruction.
I gotta get more sleep at night.
Tribe-specific Loa can have as much or more power as the more widely worshipped Loa. For instance, a particular tribe might revere highly the Loa of an ancestor who was a legendary hunter or politician. Voodoo temples are called Houndfors. Their priests, Houngan or Bokors, their priestesses, Mama Loa. In a Voodoo Houndfor, there's a ritual circle marked by a center pole called a Poto Meton. During ritual conclaves, initiates dance under the supervision of a Bokor and a Mama Loa, or head priestess. The use of totems or animal masks and markings was not uncommon in the original African ceremonies. Now, though, all but the oldest sects have abandoned this practice. Ritual objects used during the conclaves included the ritual gourd, or asan, the ritual knife, or kubasa,
That knife gives me the chills.
the ritual whip, or fouetcache, and the ritual coffin, or seke madule. These items are often optional, called for by the Mama Loa for specific magical rituals. The Mama Loa is the most powerful figure in any voodoo sect. Voodoo is a truly matriarchal system. Even the Bokor knows his power is limited. The Mama Loa is the supreme woman. She goes out of her house at night, sees many things, and tries to get butterflies. And at night again, she sees other things, including fireflies.
Firelight. Gabriel?
What? Can't see.
Gabriel, get in.
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel. Hide.
No! Let me out! Help!
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Are you a student?
No. My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Well, you've already interrupted and slept through my lecture, Mr. Knight. I hope you have something worthwhile to do here. If you figure it out, let me know.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I've read about them in the papers. I must admit to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treat voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have no idea what they're doing or the power they're playing with.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
The Catholic Church has always dominated in New Orleans, and its imagery, in turn, has dominated New Orleans voodoo.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
If there's more you wish to know, perhaps you should read my books.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist, Mr. Knight, but I know all I care to about reptiles.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's June 23rd, the feast day of St. John the Baptist. But June 23rd has been a sacred day since the earliest times. Ancient sun worshippers used to roll a flaming wheel down a hill to celebrate the sun's descent on that day.
A burning wheel? Huh. Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
While I find the colloquial bastardizations of voodoo somewhat interesting, from a sheerly intellectual point of view, there's not a lot of relation between people like Laveau and true voodoo practices.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
As I said in my lecture, which I assume you actually listened to, is that animal masks, totems, are used extensively in most African voodoo religions.
Do you know anything about veves?
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Tell me about Damballa.
Damballa is one of the major Rada Loa, also known as Damballa Wado. He is an ancient Dahomean rain god, often represented as a large boa constrictor. Damballa is the most powerful and most violent of the Rada Loa. The Rada Loa are typically benevolent, as opposed, say, to the Patro Loa. He is still worshipped heavily in Haiti, and when voodoo first started in New Orleans, the early conclaves were reportedly based on the worship of the great zombie, the great serpent, Damballa.
Tell me more about Damballa.
I have extensive courses in the Loa running next semester. Perhaps you should take one of those, Mr. Knight.
Tell me about Ogun Badagry.
Ogun Badagry is one of the Patro Loa. The Patro Loa are much more violent than the Rada Loa. Some people believe the Patro Loa originated in Haiti, but I have found some evidence that the Patro Loa were African as well, though worshipped only by a small voodoo tribe, and a very bloody one.
Tell me more about Ogun Badagry.
He is a chief nasty, Mr. Knight. He is the spirit of war and destruction.
Tell me about yourself.
All right, Mr. Knight. I'm 35, a fully tenured professor at this university, as well as a fellow at Cambridge. My doctorate was obtained at Syracuse. Yes, Syracuse. in religious studies. I'm an agnostic, but I find human belief systems fascinating. I specialize in African religions because I grew up there. My father was a Protestant missionary. And I am heterosexual, when I practice sex at all, which isn't very often. Any other questions?
Oh, no.
Fine.
Do you know what Capri Saint-Cor means?
Cabri Saint-Cor? Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, bulls, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
What was that translation for Capri Saint-Cor again?
It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
It's very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible, if that's what the gods demand. For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Ezuli, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Ezuli is the gentlest of Loire, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Houngan tremble before possession by one of the more violent Loire, such as Papa Nebo. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that Loire will simply take it for themselves.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
I wouldn't dwell on it. Most voodoo sects probably haven't seen a human sacrifice for several generations.
Your lecture was terrific.
Oh, you think so? You were snoring so loud I didn't think you'd heard it.
You must travel a lot.
Yes, to Africa mainly.
I'm very interested in voodoo myself right now.
How nice for you.
I'd really like to know more about you.
There have been several articles written about me, Mr. Knight, as well as blurbs on my book jackets. If you want a biography, read.
Can you tell me anything about this?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Mind if I copy this?
Be my guest.
Great. I'll be right back. Here you go. You know, this is a fascinating veve. You must tell me all about its origin.
Actually, I was hoping you'd tell me. Can you figure out anything about it from the symbols?
Well, some. That's why I wanted a copy. I want to research the design myself.
Have you heard of the voodoo murders?
No. You're kidding. Really? Then the voodoo is authentic. The newspapers are wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
You think this veve is authentic?
Authentic? Mr. Knight, that's like asking if the Mona Lisa is a painting. Tell you what, I'll look into these symbols myself and see what I can learn about the sect that made this. I'll give you a call when I have more information. You are associated with the police, aren't you?
Absolutely. But I'm undercover. You can contact me at St. George's Bookshop in the quarter.
All right. Now, I'd like to get started on this, if you don't mind.
Okay, thanks.
Good day, Mr. Knight.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I've never seen those symbols. Therefore, they're probably meaningless.
Really? Are you sure?
I'm never wrong, Mr. Knight. Therefore, sure is not in my vocabulary.
Okay, thanks.
Good day, Mr. Knight.
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Malia?
Mr. Knight, what are you doing here?
My family's tomb is here.
Mine too.
Unnoticed. Subtle.
Well, Mr. Knight, if there's nothing else.
Don't go. I need to talk to you.
Whatever for?
I can't stop thinking about you. I've been in your thoughts too. I can see it in your eyes.
Mr. Knight, you don't know anything about me. I'm not in a position to get involved.
I've said that a million times myself, but this is different. I think we both know we can't fight it. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
I have so many obligations. My family is very traditional. You wouldn't understand.
Hey, I love tradition. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof 100 times.
This isn't a musical, Mr. Knight. We live in different worlds.
Look, I know you got more money than God. Do you think I care? Do you think that's why I'm saying this?
No, I don't.
Why don't you come see my world? I've got a little bookshop, St. George's on Bourbon.
I know.
See, I knew it. You're crazy about me too. Come by tonight. Please? My world isn't so bad.
I'm sorry, but there's no place for someone like you in my life. Not now, not ever.
Damn it. I don't need to go visit the family tomb today. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Ask what you want. I answer what I want.
Look, I'm researching voodoo for a book.
I don't have your answers, me. You want to buy something, monsieur?
I found out what Cabri Sanko means. How did you know about human sacrifice?
I never said them words, monsieur. You must have heard them from someone else.
What else do you know?
I don't know much, monsieur. Someone at the Voodoo Museum can tell you all about her.
What else do you...
I don't know.
Does the name...
Don't talk like that around here, man.
Do you know anything about Veves?
Like the ones in the voodoo rituals they do for the tourists?
Right.
They curiosities, no? This a curio shop.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Have you ever heard of Damballa?
Damballa is an African legend about a great serpent. Folklore, that's all.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult me, monsieur. The price is $120.
What?
You misheard, monsieur.
Hello, Dr. John.
Glad you could return to us, Mr. Knight.
Professor Hartridge called this a Sakei Madule. What did he call it? Kabasa? Funny, I say the same thing to women. I wish Molly Ageti was permanently grafted to my thighs. Could I ask you some more questions?
Of course. I also find our dialogue stimulating.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
Of course. It is one of the Loa.
What can you tell me about the Loa Damballa?
Damballa is a snake Loa. It originated in Africa, and is also worshipped heavily in Haiti, I believe.
Do you worship Damballa?
Mr. Knight, in voodoo, all of the Loa are given their due respect.
What else can you tell me about the Loa Damballa?
I am afraid I have little else to say about that subject.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I do not believe so.
Isn't he one of the Loa?
Perhaps. I am not familiar with some of the more obscure Haitian and African Loa.
Are you sure you don't know anything about Ogun Badagri?
Quite sure, Mr. Knight.
Do you know anything about Veves?
I believe they have something to do with Haitian voodoo, but that is not really my area.
Do you know anything else about Veves?
I am afraid I have little else to say about that subject.
What does this do?
Turn that thing off.
Oh, sorry.
We have air conditioning, you see.
Yeah, I see. Goodbye, Dr. John.
Goodbye, Mr. Knight.
Hey, Grace, here I am.
Whew, boy, party time.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Does the name
Ooh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about Veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you have messages?
Nope, none right now.
I've got some things I need to do.
Good luck.
May I help you, my child?
I'd like to make a confession.
All right, if it'll make you feel better.
I've had impure thoughts about a woman I met.
Impure thoughts? You mean thoughts of sexual relations?
You could say that, but worse than what you mean.
Worse? You mean extreme sexual relations?
Well, not involving animals or anything.
Oh, well. Perhaps we should just leave it at that. Pray for forgiveness and say 10 rosaries. Is there anything else?
I've done some pretty rotten things to my friend Mosley.
Rotten? What do you mean?
Practical jokes, insults, among other things.
I see. Are you sorry?
Well...
Pray for forgiveness and say 3 rosaries. Is there anything else?
I haven't paid my assistant for 3 months.
Have you had the money?
Nope.
Sounds like a matter for the courts, son, not the church. Is there anything else?
Some people say I'm a selfish person, Father.
We can always strive to improve ourselves. Patterns can be broken.
Yes. Thank you, Father.
Is there anything else?
I think I just need to give an overall apology to the universe.
I see. Apology noted.
Thanks, Father.
Is there anything else?
I've had a lot of women, Father.
A lot? More than 10?
Yes, Father.
More than 20?
Yes, Father.
More than 40?
Yes, Father.
Son, I don't think this is a matter for a priest. I think you need a good therapist.
If we're counting therapists, then I'm up to at least, let's see here, count the 1 and, this might take a while.
My son, I'm afraid my lunch break is coming on about now. Pray for forgiveness and say 20 rosaries. On second thought, when you finish the math, say that many rosaries.
I should probably add 1 more rosary for that while I'm at it. I've been a bad boy. I've always wondered how the other half lives. You never know when a priest's collar will come in handy.
Father, I'd like to make a confession.
Go on, my son.
I've recently come into a large sum of money.
I don't really see a problem with that.
It's not that. It's how I got it. I literally found a suitcase of money. So I picked it up and took it instead of telling the police or trying to find who it belonged to.
I advise you to invest in a local business. I've heard there's this wonderful bookshop on Bourbon Street, in fact, that could use a little bit of luck.
Well, I'm not much of a reader.
What better time to start? Oh, and say 10 rosaries, I think.
If you say so, Father. Thank you.
Thank you, my son.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Do go on.
I've had impure thoughts about men, Father.
Surely it can't be all that bad.
Oh, it is, Father. No, I can't say that to a priest.
Don't worry about that, sweetheart. You say whatever you need to. In detail.
You don't sound like a priest.
But how can you cleanse your mind unless you fully express your sins, my child?
Aren't you just supposed to tell me to say rosaries or something?
We'll get to that, but first...
No offense, Father, but I think I'll try another confessional.
This black shirt won't get me into Madame Casanova by itself. I'll have to dress it up a little. This disguise is almost ready. I hate to say it, but I need to style my hair to be more... respectable. I don't think hair gel alone is going to convince her I'm the respectable type. All right, but this is private.
Yes? Who is it?
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish. I'm so pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
Please be seated, Father.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over the city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on clothes. Oh, you have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
Tell me more about voodoo in New Orleans.
It's just plain evil. It's dangerous to even discuss it.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Voodoo murders? Ha! They are nothing new to me, Father. They happen all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know, even here in this room. But I try not to let them know about me. That's the best way.
What else do you know about the voodoo murders?
Shh! They'll hear you.
What can you tell me about New...
The only true New Orleans are of French origin, you know. My family were among the original settlers of New Orleans. They came here from France. The Creole society used to be so gay in New Orleans. Now it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes, they're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your dreams? They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks. Do you know anything else?
It would be bad luck to talk about that anymore.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Oh, St. John's Eve, mais oui. I used to love the St. John's Eve Mass at St. Louis Cathedral. Of course, it is also a night of great wickedness, worse than All Hallows Eve. They will corrupt anything, Father.
They? They who?
Oh, you know.
What else?
I don't think I should say any more about that.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, her? I could tell you about her. Voodoo Queen? Ah! My great-grandmother was an acolyte of Marie Laveau. She knows the truth about her.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
No, I won't say anything more. Not to you, Father. I'm sure you mean well, but you are an outsider.
Tell me more.
No.
Do you know anything?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything?
No, Father.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
No, Father.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
No, Father.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I am Creole. My family has been in New Orleans for over 200 years. Real New Orleanians are French, you see. These days, the city is overrun with people with no heritage at all. No offense, Father, but it's true. But the French, naturellement, will always be the true blood of New Orleans.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, Father, I don't know.
It's so nice of you to invite me in.
But no, mon père. I am always happy to see one of the good fathers.
Tell me more.
No, I won't.
Do you have any idea what Caprice encore means?
Maybe. I know. I bet you do not know, Father, n'est-ce pas?
It means goat without horns.
Father, you surprised me. You do know what it means. You know what they mean by goat without horns, don't you? A human being. That's right. Slit your throat, cut out your heart. Pure evil murder.
Do you know anything about human sacrifice here in New Orleans?
Well, my great-grandmother could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans. But the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Who are the real voodoo queens?
Well, my great-grandmother told me that Laveau was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo enfant. That's what they call their temples, you know. It's so secret, most of the voodoo people in the city don't even know about it. The real voodoo queen controlled Laveau, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound for.
Well, I've never seen it. I wouldn't go near it if you bade me. But it's here in New Orleans, I guarantee it. I hear their drums at night, oh yes. That's why I'm so ill, I tell you, those drums. But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happens there, I can tell you. I'll show you something secret. You mustn't tell anyone, Father.
I swear on my collar.
Here it is, mon père. A true object of evil if ever there was one.
It radiates something, all right.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that it was a token to gain entrance to the real voodoo ceremonies.
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I've always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part with it. It's been in the family for generations. Would you bless it for me, Father? I feel strange asking such a thing of you, but surely you understand.
Bless this bracelet of a snake. Even though its vibes aren't great, let it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm. Voodoo spirits, go away. Don't come back another day. And now let us pray. Bless, oh bless this circlet of silver. Take the curse, oh take it, Wilbur.
A lovely blessing, mon père.
Yes, I think it made a lasting impression. Here you go.
I feel so much better now.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She was only a front for the real evildoers, Father. And that's the truth about Marie Laveau.
Do you find the weather to your liking?
It's terribly humid. I only go out in the morning and the evening.
What a delightful little dog you have.
Ah yes, Castro is my boon companion.
Aren't you a member of the Creole Grand Arms?
Why yes, we do much charitable work in the community, you know.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
Does this mean anything to you?
No, Father, it does not.
Good day, Madame Casino.
Goodbye, Father.
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
Excuse me. I'm going inside.
Oh? I'm afraid St. George's is closed for the day.
I'm not a customer. I'm here to see the owner.
Why don't you just leave your name and number with me, and I'll tell him you stopped by.
Listen, if Gabriel is here, he'll want to see me. Is he? Here?
I really couldn't say for certain, but in the morning...
Gracie, say goodnight. You came. I didn't think you would.
I didn't think I would either.
Your eyes. I could show you around a little. It's not much, but...
Please don't. I couldn't focus on much of anything right now.
Yeah, I know. God, what is it about you?
Just shut up and kiss me.
You're not speaking to me this morning?
Don't be silly. I just have nothing to say.
Have it your way. Have you noticed this guy outside the shop?
Yeah, he gives me the creeps. I wish he'd go away.
Did you find out anything about that pattern I gave you?
Yeah, I did find something. I checked the microfiche at the public library. I found an article about a murder in 1810. The newspaper published part of a pattern found around the body. It looks damn close.
You're incredible. All that work.
Forget it.